Welcome back. This is World Talks on TVP World. My name is Anna Kalczyńska. Budapest marches for freedom. It was perhaps the most powerful proof of resistance to Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, as thousands gathered in Budapest to protest his controversial policies. The rally marked not only a clear stand for LGBTQ+ rights, but also a significant push for civil liberties amid rising government opposition. To discuss the political situation in Hungary and the perspective of restoring the fully fledged democracy in the country, we're joined now by Katalin, Czech, Hungarian Member of Parliament Momentum Movement. Good morning, madam, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, according to some, even 300,000 on the streets of Budapest yesterday. So, that's a powerful figure, and it's truly impressive. However, to what extent is it only a local situation with one big city marching on the streets and protesting Orbán, with the rest of the country tacitly supporting Viktor Orbán?
I believe that in the recent year, the political situation in Hungary has changed dramatically. Now you see in the polls that Viktor Orbán is actually only the runner-up, and there is a new opposition party leading the polls very significantly, I have to say. So there is a change of tide. I think people finally decided that they had enough of the bad governance of Orbán, of the rising cost of living, about the dramatic situation in healthcare or education, and also on the continuous attack on civil liberties. And I think yesterday's Budapest Pride was a great testament to this, that hundreds of thousands of people mobilized in spite of the threats from the government, the threats of financial penalties, threats of actual physical violence on the march. And I cannot think of a nicer symbol to stand up against Orbán, to do it through a march for LGBT people, a minority he has been so viciously mobilizing against over the past decade.
You say there's been a change of tide. And moving to an perhaps assessment of the political situation, what does the latest poll say about Fidesz and Viktor Orbán in particular?
Well, recently we have seen trends that are visible in every single poll I have seen. Is that the TISA party, the opposition party from the EPP, the Conservative Party, have been rising constantly, and Orbán's Fidesz party is slowly dropping support. So now I saw polls that put the opposition even in a 10-point lead ahead of Orbán. Of course, there is still a long way to go ahead of the election. Unfortunately, I also expect changes in the electoral law or other ways to try to stifle this growth from the government's repressive methodology playbook. But I am very positive that this trend will continue, and people will realize in larger and larger numbers all across the country that change is indeed possible, that they are not alone, and we support each other, even though many of them have to face repercussions in their daily lives, which may have stopped them from being vocal in the past years.
So Viktor Orbán is facing an unprecedented challenge from Péter Magyar, his colleague from the Fidesz party. How strong is the TISA party right now, and what can they do to prevent any changes in the electoral law?
Well, the TISA party is now the largest political party in Hungary in terms of their poll numbers. They are leading the polls with over 10 points over Fidesz, according to some measures. And I also saw that their rallies have been mobilizing people all across the country, even in small villages. We saw massive turnout at rallies, at places where we would not normally expect a huge support, a huge outcome from the opposition. But I also have to say that yesterday's Pride March also showed that the Green Mayor of Budapest, Gergely Karácsony, was also able to mobilize people behind a classically more progressive cause. So I also expect to see until the election maybe a change of tide also among the other political parties, which are a bit more to the center or to the center left to Magyar. So I'm hoping for a coalition government after the next election that can lead the country on the path of freedom, of European values, and of prosperity again.
Right. So the highly contested elections are coming next year. So the Budapest Pride has been banned by Orbán on ideological principles, claiming it is protecting the children. Is this legally possible in Hungary?
Well, unfortunately, in Hungary, it's quite easy to make anything legally possible, as the government has been governing with a supermajority, which means that they can tailor-make the laws, any law, including the constitution, to their actual political purposes, to the actual agenda they are pushing by the day. The law that made it possible to ban Budapest Pride, and not only Pride, but to generally pose a threat on freedom of assembly, and also to allow the government to profile peaceful protesters by AI technology and automatically fine them, was pushed through parliament in the span of less than 48 hours. So from introduction to the final vote in plenary, less than 2 days have passed. And I think it's, of course, a very clear showing of the authoritarian backsliding Hungary has been faced. But I also have to stress the resilience of the people, and particularly of the city of Budapest, where Gergely Karácsony, the Green Mayor of the capital, has eventually found a legal solution to make the march legal in a way that he declared that a municipal event is to be taken place to celebrate the freedom and the proudness of the Hungarian nation, and he designated this event to be a celebration of that. So basically, this means that through political courage and through his brave countenance of the government policies, he allowed this huge group of people to march between legal boundaries and eventually to march in safety.
Exactly, despite the fact that some officials, some governmental officials, said that inciting to take part in the march, in the parade, would be punishable by prison even. So now the measures set up Budapest as the epicenter of Europe's cultural war, with European politicians condemning the move and government officials, elected lawmakers descending on the Hungarian capital to protest, like senior Spanish government officials who accused the European Commission of complicity with Hungarian Prime Minister Orbán. Is there a sentiment in Hungary that not enough is being done in this respect on the part of European officials?
First of all, I have to say that I'm immensely proud of the mobilization across Europe. We saw hundreds of elected officials from the European Parliament, from national parliaments, from governments, mayors of different cities taking part at Budapest Pride. I personally worked a lot on trying to make that happen, and I am really thankful for the solidarity we've seen yesterday. On the other hand, I have to add that this is not enough, and there has to be more done at the European stage to guarantee that no EU citizens' right for freedom of assembly, for freedom to be who they are, could be trampled. In an EU of values, of civil rights, it's not okay to tolerate that a Hungarian citizen, for instance, enjoys less freedoms compared to Swedish or Belgian citizens. Mm-hmm. We are citizens of the same union, and we are hoping to see swift action from the Commission side moving forward that helps us Hungarians, their fellow Europeans, to enjoy our rights and freedoms in their full entirety.
Right. Just to add some background here, some context, the Commission had already challenged the previous Hungarian ban on LGBTQ plus content for children in 2021 and are still waiting for the final court ruling on that. So not enough is being done, not quick enough for certain. But more than 30 embassies have expressed support for the march. Do you, as Hungarians, feel the support from the international community?
Absolutely, and it was really moving to see European leaders coming to Hungary in a situation where they themselves might have had questions about their own safety, because up until the very last moment, it was not sure whether the police would protect the march, because the government also claimed that as they do not believe in the legality of the event, regardless of the legal solution the capital city found, that they might not be able to guarantee that the extreme right protesters would be separated properly from those who take part at Pride. So it was really unsure up until the last minute, and I honestly think that also the presence of the international community helped to secure the march eventually, because I don't think that even the Hungarian government would risk putting a European elected official in harm's way. So we are very thankful for this, and we are hoping to see many of our guests back next year at Budapest Pride that will take place after the next election, and we will show them then how we host prides where a country's change is already underway toward the path of a free and European and democratic society.
Do you believe that the change in Hungary will come from the civil society and the longing of Hungarians for restoring the civil liberties and rights, rather than political change will be the driving force?
Well, I think that's a good question. Honestly, I think any motivation for change is good. But I think what will lead there eventually is the spirit of Hungarians finally overtaking repression, overtaking disillusionment, and overtaking the need to just survive day by day under the oppressive regime. I think a lot of people see, and now they start to believe it, that they are deserving of a better country, that they are deserving of a well-functioning education system, a well-functioning healthcare system, that they are deserving for a salary that actually pays the cost of their groceries, right, where they do not have to worry about paying rent at the end of the month, and also a country where everybody is free to speak, where nobody's identity is politicized, and where we can just enjoy, you know, the peaceful everyday life without politics interfering in that, just as I think everybody should be.
Well, thank you so much, Katalin, Cseh, Hungarian Member of Parliament, Momentum Movement. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching World Talks on TVP World. Thank you so much for being here with us. Please stay tuned.